Hi everyone. In today's world, APIs are everywhere. APIs allow different software systems to communicate with each other. Whether you are booking a flight, updating your status on social media, or even checking the weather, APIs are doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes. One of the most common types of APIs is REST API. In this tutorial, I will guide you through the process of building a REST API using Python and Django REST Framework that we call DRF. So what is REST API? REST stands for Representational State Transfer. It is an architectural style for creating networked applications that rely on stateless client-server communication. REST APIs allow clients to interact with servers by making requests over HTTP, and these requests typically involves few operations like get, post, put, and delete. REST APIs are widely used because they are simple, scalable, and use the same basic HTTP operations that web browsers use to fetch and send data. So what is Django REST Framework? Django REST Framework DRF is a powerful toolkit for building web APIs in Django. It offers an easy to use interface to build REST APIs and comes with many features such as authentication, serialization, and view sets that make developing APIs easier. There are licenses term. You can check and start your API development. Let's walk through how to set up a Django project and integrate Django REST framework to build a simple REST API. First, make sure that you have Python installed and then create a virtual environment for your project. I have VS Code instanced open and I have created a blank folder for this project. I have to install first virtual environment in this folder. There is a command pip install virtual env. Okay, after installing virtual environment, we have to create a virtual environment for this application. I have a command virtual env venv. So venv folder is created. Here we have a scripts folder where all required necessary Python files are created. Then we have to change the directory venv, and then we have to activate virtual environment. Okay, so virtual environment is activated for this application. Now we have to install Django and Django REST framework. Okay, so in this virtual environment, these both modules will be installed. Now the next step is to create a new Django project. We have to come outside from this directory, Django admin, start project, REST API test. Okay, it has created a new Django project. You see, change the directory and enter into our new Django project REST API test. Now to keep things modular, we have to create a new application within our REST API test project that will handle the REST API. Okay, I have a command to create like python manage.py start app API. A new folder with API will be created into this project. You see, now the next step is to configure this REST framework into our main application. Okay, we have to go to the settings.py file and there is a list of installed app by default. Okay, in this project I'm going to add to Django application REST framework and then the API application that we have just created. I have saved the file. Let me close it down. We need a database model so that we can perform database operations. Okay, I have some code handy. To save some time, we are going to create a category database table where we have three fields: title, description, and active field. We have inherited models.model class. I've saved the file. In order to create the database table with category name, I'm going to run migration command to create tables. Let me clear migrations. Okay, now a new migration folder has been created which actually contains all required database script. We also have newly created database model with category name. Okay, now we are going to migrate this script against SQLite database. Okay, Python manage.py migrate. Okay, if you notice that we have db.sqlite3 default database in the project. Okay, so this database will contain default database tables with category table. Now the next step is to create a serializer. All right, serializer in DRF are responsible for converting complex data types like Django models into JSON, XML, or other content types, and vice versa. Okay, I have to go to my API directory, and then I have to create serializer.py file. Okay, here I'm going to create this file, serializer py. I have code handy to save some time. Here we have imported serializers class, and then we have dot models, our category database object. We have category serializer, which is inheriting model serializer from REST frame. And then we have meta, and then we are referring category model type here. We are going to take all the fields for this serializer, right? All three fields which we have mentioned in this category. Okay, I have saved the file. Now the next part is to create views and URLs for this API. In Django REST Framework, we use views to handle requests. You can use API's view or view sets to manage CRUD operations. Here in this simple API view, we will allow you to create, list, update, and delete categories. Okay, I'm going to open view.py file which was generated at the time of project creation, and I have some code handy. Okay, import view modules and its classes. It is a serializer. Okay, category serializer we are referring. Create a endpoint view to perform get and post operation. Okay, very simple. And here there is a API view. Okay, so this is a simple function that we are referring with help of decorators. Okay, any call from the browser get or post will come here. We are checking request.method equals to get, then we are going to get all the records from category table, and we are converting those records into a serializer, and then we will respond back this data to the browser. Similarly, we have a post method. If we are going to post new data to our database table, then it will convert to the serializer, and then serializer will actually save the data. Okay. Now let's define URLs to map these views. Okay, I'm going to create urls.py file, and then we have URLs pattern. Okay, so we have defined a path with categories name where it will refer views.category list. Okay, this is the view that we have just created into views.py here. Okay, the other important thing, we have to refer this application URLs into the main project. Okay, open the urls.py, the main endpoint for this API application. I'm also taking include method so that we can pass API stored all URLs into this main project. Okay, whatever URLs you are defining here, so all will be linked with this mapping. In fact, now it is time to run the application. Python manage.py run server. Okay, now application is running on this URL. Just copy the URL and browse into your browser. Okay, so it says that there is nothing on the default page. But remember, we had mentioned the API with the URL. Okay, you can say that API categories. You will see that a very nice interface to test your Django API. Okay, so there is nothing in this database table. We have a post operation also handled, right? If you are going to post new data for this, you can easily post new data. Okay, so I'm going to take media type as application.json. So to create new categories, we have to say title. Let me say test1, description 1, active as true. Okay, this is the value. Okay, as soon as I click on the post, so data will be inserted into the categories table. Okay, I click on post. You see that the data has been saved into the database table and it returned the same data. You want to create another record, just copy it, remove the ID because it is auto generated, make it test2, description 2, and click on post. Okay, if you want to get the data, you will get all records from this table, right? We have just inserted two records. This is how you can retrieve data with help of Django REST framework. Okay. Now we are going to perform more operations with help of another view. Okay, I have some code handy. So this is another decorator for us which will handle get, put and delete HTTP adverbs. In the try except block, I've just retrieved a current object from the database table. Okay, if it does not exist, then it is going to raise HTTP not found error. Okay, if it exists, then we are going to check that the request.method is get, then we are going to get serializer object and it is going to return. Okay, if we are going to update any data, then we are passing the data which we have provided from the client, and then we are checking if the data is valid, that it is going to save against database. Okay, and then we are returning response serializer dot data. If the data is not valid, that we are going to return 400 bad request issue with the errors. Okay, similarly, we are checking that request.method equals to delete, and we are going to delete the current record. Okay, I have saved the file. Now we are going to map this view on the URL file. Okay, here we have categories slash ID, the primary key of any record. Then it will call category details. This one. Okay, the ID of any record will be served here, and then we are going to get a specific record from category table from SQLite 3 database. Okay, I've saved the file. I'm refreshing the API. I'm going to put 1, press enter. I'm getting only single record. This is the unique ID for this record. If I put 2, we will get the record number 2 from the table. Okay, if I remove it, you will get all the records, right? So this is how we can get the detail of individual record through the URL. And if we are going to update any data, then we have to just copy the data, remove the ID and update anything. Put the 1 and then click on post. You see, data is updated. If you get all the records, then you will be able to see the updated data. So it has created record number 3 by mistake. We have to check what is the problem. Go to the views.py file. There is a put operation. Let me try it again. See, 1. Yeah, you got the put button now. All right. You can see that in the record number 1, we have made active as false and description we had updated. Okay. If you're going to delete any record from this sets, you can do easily in the same way, right? I'm going to get the record number 1 and then there is a button at the top, right? If you click on this button, so data is deleted now. Okay, very simple. You see, record number 1 is no more. So congratulations, you have just built your first REST API using Django REST Framework. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned REST API with Django REST Framework. So give me the comment down below of this video. Don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.